Hello there, you guys. Welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. Again, some more current transfer rumours and gossip, to give you a current update. And before I get into the talk of the development, of course, there's also lots of other things to talk about. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel, and if you do, consider subscribe. As always, the reports now are coming out in relation to Koulibaly, of course, as well. Reports stemming from Italy, of course, that reportedly now Koulibaly is forcing an exit from Napoli, of course, this summer, because recent reports have just indicated now that reportedly Koulibaly has reportedly swapped agents, reportedly, according to the media. Now, reportedly, he is represented by his brother, his Koulibaly, of course, as well. And that's the type of players, that Manchester United should be targeting, of course, players of that calibre, a player that can play to the highest level, of course, as well. And, we need them type of players, to get us up there, challenging. And he's got the ability to elevate Manchester United in the next 2 to 3 years, of course, as well as Koulibaly. But Manchester United have been long admirers of the player. Obviously, we were linked with him back in January. We were linked with him last summer, of course, as well. And Man United were in negotiations with Napoli, especially back in January. Manchester United had 3 bids turned down for the player, of course, as well. I think the most recent one was around £95 million. Recent reports have been coming out, Carlo Ancelotti's had his say on the scenario, and he's insisted that Koulibaly is not for sale, and he's insisted that Koulibaly, will not leave Napoli this summer, of course, as well. But he would address our defensive deficiencies, fantastically well, indeed, because you can see we've got deficiencies in the squad, to be quite honest, and obviously we need at least around 4 players this summer, of course. Well, I do think potentially Man United probably won't be challenging for the league next season. Probably next season, our aspirations, potentially, will be the top 4, to be quite honest with you, as well. But it depends who Solskjaer can bring to Man United in the summer. Reportedly, we're going to get around over £200 million to spend, but we do need someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof in our central defensive area, because we do need a world-class experienced centre-back. We haven't had one since we had the likes of Vidic and Ferdinand, of course, as well. But Koulibaly would fit the Manchester United agenda, fantastically well. As I did say, he's 27 years of age, of course, as well. He's good in the air. His defensive capabilities are good. He shows that ability to play out from the back, and he's grown, developed, and flourished fantastically well with Napoli, of course, as well. His performances were good under Sarri. Now his performances are good under Ancelotti, and he's under contract with Napoli until 2023, as we all know. He recently signed a new deal, not too long ago, of course, as well. Reports were coming out last week saying that reportedly Napoli would demand that they want around £130 million at least in the access if they were willing to do any business for Koulibaly this summer, of course, as well. So potentially, if we come to an agreement to get him in this summer, it'd make him the most expensive defender in world football, guys, of course, as well. So potentially, Manchester United do need a strong central defender, of course. We do know Baye's future is uncertain with the club. He's been in and out of the team this season. Of course, he's been here since 2016. Chris Smalling's obviously there as a backup, centre back, of course, as well. Even though, to be fair, his performances have improved, since he's recovered from injury, because mainly Solskjaer has been going with Smalling and Lindelof as a centre-back partnership, of course, as well. It's looking like Marcus Rojo's on his way out of the club in the summer as well, because he's been very inconsistent, and, obviously his Man United career has been affected, the amount of injuries he's currently had as well. So potentially we do need someone that can go alongside Lindelof. Jones, again, his future is uncertain with the club, of course, as well. And, players like that, that's who Manchester United, of course, should be targeting, of course, as well. So Koulibaly would be fantastic indeed, as we all know, as well. And there's another defender, Manchester United have been interested in as well. That's been Rafael Varane again, another player, that's, plays to the highest level, of course. It's remarkable, what Rafael Varane's achieved, during his playing career with Real Madrid. He's remained loyal at Real Madrid, for 8 years, of course. He's made 268 appearances for Real Madrid in all competitions, as well as Rafael Varane. Reports have been coming out about it in the last couple of days, that Manchester United, have been linked with a move for Rafael Varane. Again, 25 years of age, of course, he's a player that we should be targeting, a player of his calibre, of course, as well. As I did say, he's made 268 appearances in all competitions. He's got a contract with Real Madrid till 2022. There has been reports coming out in the last couple of days that a few teams have attracted his interest. PSG have been linked, Juventus have been linked, Manchester United have also been linked as well. But I think reportedly Real Madrid have no intentions of selling him in this summer. Obviously, we do know that he's got a huge release clause in his current deal of around £429 million. So reportedly, if Real Madrid are willing to do any business for him this summer, reportedly, they're demanding that a team, triggers his £429 million release clause or something like that as well. But reports coming out saying that Man United were preparing to put £100 million bid in for him, but he reads the game well. He shows that his stability is good. He shows that ability, to play out from the back as well. He reads the game very, very well indeed, and he'd be a fantastic leader in our backline, to be quite honest, because it's remarkable what he's achieved at Madrid. I think he's won about 15, 16 major honours or something like that as Rafael Varane. So they're the type of players, that Manchester United should be targeting, players that can play to to the highest level with the likes of Koulibaly or the Rafael Varans, of course, and neither of them have played in the Premier League, so it would be good for one of them, to come and experience the Premier League, of course, as well, indeed. And potentially for me, yeah, that's the type of players, Manchester United, should be targeting, without a shadow of a doubt, indeed. As we all currently know, they're the type of players, we've got to be targeting, of course, as well. But as I did say, we're going to get around £200 million spent this summer. I think the major issue at the moment, obviously, Manchester United have got to get a director of football, to come in, to change the club structure and all that as well. And it's a good thing, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is emphasising his targets. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now is permanent Manchester United boss, as we all know as well. So now he's permanent Man United boss. He's obviously having conversations with Ed Woodward, what players should come in, what players should come in, what players should leave Manchester United in the summer, and what players, should currently stay, of course, as well. Potentially still some contract renewals to sort out, but Solskjaer has identified the areas where he thinks Man United need to strengthen up. We need a right back, we need someone on that right wing, we need a centre defensive midfield that's fast and tenacious. I do think we need a couple of additions in that midfield, to be quite honest with you, as well, because it's looking like Herrera's on his way out of Manchester United, as we all know. Matic is aging up. I've got strong reservations about him. He's too slow, so we need a centre defensive midfielder. Of course, there's been rumours going on about Paul Pogba, I've updated you on. And obviously, we've got fringe players as well, with the likes of Fred, McTominay and Pereira. But for me, they haven't got the capabilities, to graduate to that level, in my opinion, of course, as well. So for me, we do need new additions, of course, in that midfield. I think on the left-hand side we're okay, because I think that's where the majority of our attack is coming from, the left-hand side, to be quite honest with you, as well. But yeah, I'm a big admirer of Rafael Varane, and I'd love him to come to Manchester United, to be quite honest with you, as well. But as I've been updating you on other transfer rumours, that I've potentially been going on as well, as I have been currently updating you on, as I updated you on my last video. Reports have been coming out today in relation to Saul Niguez as well, the Atletico Madrid midfielder, 24 years of age, of course. I think he's made about 200 odd appearances for Atletico Madrid. Obviously spent quite a few years at Atletico Madrid now, because obviously he graduated from their youth system, of course, as well. He's 24. It's also said that Manchester City have also showed an interest in him as well. But I think potentially Man United probably would eye him as a good replacement, probably, for Ander Herrera, of course. Saul Niguez, reportedly, is a versatile midfielder, reportedly. He can also play as a holding midfielder, he can play as a central midfielder, he can play on the right as well. I think he can operate as a number 6, he can operate as a number 8, of course, as well. So do you think he'd be a good addition, if he was to come to Manchester United? Reportedly, he's got around a release clause of around £128 million in his deal with Atletico Madrid, reportedly, as well. So potentially, there is reports going on about that, and we do need someone in that midfield, alongside Pogba and Nemanja Matic, of course, as well. And I've rectified, quite a few midfielders, who could, play amongst, Pogba and Matic, who I like anyway. I don't know much about this Saul Niguez, sorry if I've pronounced his name wrong. I like Marco Verratti, he's a very, very good player for PSG. I do really, really rate him, to be quite honest with you. Who else? I don't mind Declan Rice, to be quite honest with you. I don't really know about Declan Rice, if I'm going to be quite honest with you, but I know his name has been mentioned. Adrien Rabiot, again, don't really know much about Adrien Rabiot, of course, as well, but I know he's on his way out of PSG at the end of the season, of course, as well, because obviously he comes to an end of his contract at the end of the season. But the most essential thing is we need someone alongside Pogba, and we need someone of course, alongside Nemanja Matic, of course, in our midfield, of course, as well. And as I did currently say to you guys, in relation to Ander Herrera, we know he's probably on his way out of the club this summer, because reportedly he's agreed a deal to join PSG at the end of the season, of course, on a free transfer. He signed a pre-contract agreement with them, and I did say I'm very disappointed about, he's made 187 appearances for the club. Potentially, Ander Herrera, of course, he's one of Manchester United's best players, as we all know, as well. He's been a good servant in his 5th season at Manchester United, of course, and I think he has had rough patches, during his playing career with Man United. But as I do think, to be quite honest with you, since Solskjaer's come, his form's been rejuvenated. He's tenacious. He's been breaking up the play very, very well. He gallops forward well, and he's been looking very, 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 very good in that midfield trio. To be quite honest about. I think he's now going to PSG in the summer on a free transfer. I think it's a 3-year deal. He's going to be with PSG around £200,000 a week, of course, and he was demanding £200,000 a week from Manchester United to remain loyal to Manchester United, to sign a new contract with Manchester United, of course, well, but Man United were not willing to give him that £200,000, of course, well. But he is age 29 now. We know he's not a £200,000 a week player, in my opinion, but potentially maybe we should have just paid him off, to keep him. But we do know we can get someone for less than £200,000 a week that is potentially better than Ander Herrera, so we've got to look at it that way, of course, as well. But as we do know, this got revealed by Duncan Castles. It's looking likely he's on his way to PSG at the end of the season, of course, as well. But obviously PSG has seen him as a good replacement for Adrien Rabiot, of course, PSG are looking for someone to partner alongside Verratti in their midfield, and obviously I think when Herrera does go to PSG, I think he'll be a great addition in the French league. I think he'll look very, very good alongside Marco Verratti in their midfield, of course, as well. So the most important thing is now Manchester United, of course, I've got to go out there and get a replacement for Ander Herrera, of course, as well. So I think, Sal Niguez is a potential, ideal replacement. Manchester United have showed an interest in, of course, as well. And potentially, we do know that players are on the way out of Manchester United this summer, as we all currently know as well. I think Valencia's on his way out of Man United this summer. He's been a long-serving here over the years. He has been very, very good. He's been essential for the team, but obviously now he's aging up, of course, and he's on his way out in the summer. Ashley Young, for me, he won't leave in the summer. He'll probably leave when his contract term extends, 1 year contract term extension expires, but he's very poor now. Ashley Young's getting exploited far too easily. His pass completion's very, very poor. He loses the ball far too easily, of course, as well does Ashley Young. And I don't rate Ashley Young anymore. As he always said before, he needs dropping, does Ashley Young. Maybe put Diego Dalot at that right back position. I know he can play in an advanced position, can Diego Dalot. Most recently, when we have played Diego Dalot, he has been playing in more of an advanced role, more attacking intent. He has been playing in. But for me, Diego Dalot needs to operate at right back, because Ashley Young, in my opinion, needs to be dropped. Of course, again, over the years he has been good. He's been a long-serving player for Manchester United. Of course, as I said, back in the day was good as a winger. But for me, he's too old now. He's Ashley Young. By the time his 1 year extension expires, he'll be nearly 35 years of age. Will Ashley Young, of course, as well. So definitely, I don't want him at this club anymore. To be quite honest with you as well, because he's causing us a hell of a lot of problems. And it seems to be quite a few of the experienced players that are causing us the problems. To be quite honest with you as well. I think, as I did say, I think Rojo's on his way out of the club. I think Darmin's on his way out of the club in the summer as well. Enjoyed a difficult time. He was a Manchester United player. Darmin struggled to really, get in the team and all that as well. I'd said I don't know if Fred for me is a long-term solution for Manchester United. Of course, I don't even know about him, to be quite honest. I'm not too sure about him. Sanchez for me, he's definitely on his way out of Manchester United. Of course, he's out with a knee injury at the moment as well. But considering his substantial amount of wages currently on, obviously it's going to be hard to find a buyer for Sanchez this summer as well. So we may consider loaning him out, or he may consider to take some kind of wage cut. But obviously he's out at the moment with an knee injury, and he's been very inconsistent as a Manchester United player. He's just really been inconsistent, and he just hasn't fitted under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's system, Alexis Sanchez, of course, as well. So definitely Sanchez is on his way out of the club in his summer. Considering substantial wages on, obviously it's going to be hard to find a buyer for him. And obviously with the amount of wages Sanchez is on, I think it's totally destroyed our wage structure, and it's caused problems for our wage structure. Of course, considering the amount of money Sanchez is on, we've got other players that are obviously demanding more money. Obviously because Sanchez has been inconsistent, and other players are thinking, well, why should he be on that money? He's been inconsistent for the team. Why can't we get a wage increase of course as well? And this is why it's this is what is happening, to be quite honest with you. And obviously De Gea's still yet to sign a new contract with Manchester United, of course, as well. We've got rumours going on about Juan Mata as well. He's coming to an end of his deal at the end of the season. Reports have been coming out in the last couple of days in relation to Juan Mata, of course, saying that Barcelona are in talks to get Juan Mata on a free transfer at the end of the season. Of course, Barcelona have been in talks with Juan Mata over a multi-year deal, reportedly as well. Obviously, anyway, I don't know if Man United have been in talks of getting him a new contract, but I'm not too sure about that. But even if he were, we wouldn't be giving him a new long-term extension, considering that he is 30 years of age. Is Juan Mata, of course, as well. But it has said Barcelona have held negotiations, and Barcelona planning on getting him on free transfer this summer, because obviously, as I did say, Mata's been a good servant to Manchester United, as we all know. I think just recovered from a hamstring injury not too long ago as well, and he's been a good servant at Manchester United as Juan Mata, as we all currently know as well. This is his 5th season at United. He's made over 200 appearances in all competitions for the club, as well as Juan Mata. And as I did say, I think he scored about 50 goals? I think it's 50 goals he scored in the Premier League for Manchester United. Juan Mata, if I'm quite sure, to be quite honest with you as well. But he's been very... Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry, guys, about that swearing. He just bloody went off again. As I was saying, he's been a very, very good servant to Manchester United. Of course, he can play as a central mid. He can also play on the wing, of course, now. But he is age 30 now. He's Juan Mata, to be quite honest with you as well. But he has been consistent for Manchester United. Of course, he spent a lot of years in the Premier League, so he has got a good pedigree in the Premier League. He spent a lot of years in the Premier League, about 7-8 years in total. He's been here at Manchester United 5 years. He had 2.5 or 3 years with Chelsea, of course, as well, Juan Mata. But obviously, he's had a lot of experience of playing in Spain. When he was a lot younger, Juan Mata. He'd risen up the ranks, in Spain, with Real Madrid, and then he had 4 years with Valencia under Unai Emery, of course, as well. So as I did say, Juan Mata could be on his way out in the summer as well. So potentially we'll have to identify a replacement for him. Of course, there's people also talking about Lukaku's finished at the club. Lukaku should move on now. Of course, well again, Lukaku's one of our slow players. His finishing needs to improve. I think before the international break he was in really really good form. He was scoring goals. I think Lukaku does perform better, to be fair, when he's getting that support up front, because that's where he looks more effective. Of course, but for me, he's slow. His first touch concerns me. He doesn't get enough runs in behind. To be quite honest as well. So people are saying that Lukaku is now finished at Manchester United. Of course, as well. So yeah, I do think essentially players are going to leave Manchester United this summer, of course, as well. But for me, we do need someone that can link in our attacking line that can link up alongside Rashford and Anthony Martial, of course, as well. And I think Jadon Sancho is capable of doing this. I think he'd link up very very well with Martial and Rashford in our attacking line, because Jadon Sancho is a winner. Obviously, we do know that he probably cost us a nine-figure sum of around £100 million this summer, maybe even more than £100 million this summer. And that's staggering amounts of money again. As I did say, maybe some people are saying we should be sensible, with the recruitment in the summer, not spending, too much money on one player, of course, as well. But Jadon Sancho, for me, is the solution to Manchester United's problems. He's a really, really good player. We need someone who can play between the bylines and put crosses into the box, and Jadon Sancho, is capable of doing this, to be quite honest. He's on the contract with Dortmund until 2022, as we all know, as well. Borussia Dortmund only paid £8 million to him a couple of years ago from Manchester City, as we all know, as well. So there's been a lot of talks going on about Sancho. He's attracted interest, from quite a few teams across Europe, as we all know. Potentially, if we were to come to an agreement to get him in the summer, it would make him the most expensive English footballer ever, of course, as well, Jadon Sancho. But potentially, he did have a couple of years at City, so potentially he's had experience of playing in English football, but I don't think he ever got into the first team with Manchester City, did Jadon Sancho, of course. He's one of England's youngest upcoming talents as well, but we do know that Man United have been heavily linked with him. Manchester United, I think it's Man United's number one priority target, to be quite honest with you, is Jadon Sancho, of course, well. But we do need someone young and ambitious on that right hand side, and he's got a lot of years ahead of him. He's just turned 19 years of age, of course, as well. So we do know, there's been a lot of talk, going on about Jadon Sancho. So we need someone who can link up with Martial and Marcus Rashford, and I think Sancho, in my perspective, is the perfect candidate, without a shadow of a doubt, indeed. And potentially, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we do know, wants to right back at Manchester United, as we all know, as well. And obviously, we've targeted Crystal Palace's Wan-Bissaka. There's been talks about him, going on as well. I think his defensive capabilities are supposed to be very, very good. He's 21. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him, of course. He only broke into the senior team with Crystal Palace last year. Rated reportedly at around £40 million, or something like that as well. And that's a reasonable fee, for Wan-Bissaka. I don't know much about the play, but I heard he's one of the top-rated youngsters in the Premier League, of course, as well. So if Man United are willing to offer £40 million for him, this conventional Palace, business for the player, of course, as well. So there has also, been talks about him going on. Wilfried Zaha's, there's been considering, we do know is considering, if the right offers come in, they may consider, sanctioning him off as well. And Wilfried Zaha, of course, as well. I think reports coming out the other day saying that he rated at around £78 million was reportedly was Wilfried Zaha. Obviously, he's had experience he's a former Manchester United player, of course, as well. He did serve a couple of years here. Never broke into the first team with Moyes. Never broke into the first team with Louis van Gaal. So he was a failure in his 2 years with Manchester United, of course, as well, was Wilfried Zaha. So there has been reports going on about it. He can operate as a forward. He can play on both wings as well. So he is versatile, of course, as well. He's still in his mid down. But yeah, it was actually I think Manchester United must have paid around, £10 million for him or something like that. But reports have been coming out saying that if Man United do have a chance to sign him this summer, reportedly we could get him for a reduced fee, reportedly as well. Because reports do say that Man United have got a clause in his deal, which potentially means we get 25% of the profit Crystal Palace get from selling him, reportedly as well. So potentially any sale for Wilfried Zaha, we get 25% of the profit. And obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows him really, really well, to be quite honest, because obviously when he was on loan with Cardiff, Wilfried Zaha, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer Solskjaer, you know, was a Cardiff manager. So actually, Wilfred Zaha played under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. So Solskjaer probably keen on maybe, you know, reuniting with the player, of course, as well. And potentially, he actually began his career with Crystal Palace. Then he came to United for a couple of years. Then he actually went back to Crystal Palace, but I think he was on loan then with Cardiff, and he's been at Cardiff permanently now since 2015, of course, as well. And reportedly, his performances have been very, very good indeed. So potentially, Man United have also showed an interest in him as well. So potentially, yeah, that's the latest transfer rumours, you know, to give you an update on, you know, the big breaking news, you know, was in relation to Koulibaly, you know, I did want to give you an update on as well. Reportedly, he swapped agents, reportedly, and reportedly now his brother's representing him. I think he wants to leave Napoli this summer. I think he does want to come to Manchester United. Of course, you know, there's Koulibaly, of course, as well. But as I did currently say, you know, most recently, you know, Manchester United, you know, haven't been performing well, as we all currently know that with me, we know the performances have been mainly good, you know, in this like 3 month so period under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I think in the last 3 or 4 games, you know, it's just gone downhill, to be quite honest with you. You know, obviously, you know, we want to get top 4 this season, of course, so we can get Champions League for next season. So in that aspect, it makes us have more of a competitive summer transfer window, of course, as well. But obviously now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, this is a tester for him, of course. Now he's got the job permanently, of course. There's still lots of work to be done, of course, as well. And obviously, you know, he essentially gets the right recruitment in the summer, of course, as well. And I think, you know, he has galvanised this Manchester United team, you know, fantastically well, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, to be quite honest with you, as well. He's galvanised this Manchester United team very, very well. But as I did say, in the last couple of games, you know, we've just seen a total different effect, you know, to be quite honest with you, as well. There's been quite a few bad individual performances, haven't been playing to the spirit levels, you know, that we should be playing, of course, as well. And I think a lot, you know, obviously a lot of people were talking about yesterday's game. I've already given you my analysis on it as well. And in my opinion, in my own opinion, guys, I think a lot of this does stem from Ed Woodward, you know, to be quite honest. There's a lot of people are talking about, you know, it stemmed from him since 2013, you know, obviously employing Moyes in. That was actually Ferguson's fault for basically, you know, recommending him, to quite honest, when it didn't work under Moyes. And then basically Van Gaal, we got him in, you know, Van Gaal didn't work out under him because the football was boring and naive. Then we got Mourinho in, didn't work out under him either, you know, to be quite honest with you, as well. Even though he bought 11 players, you know, Jose Mourinho, and he did win 2 trophies in his first season. But Mourinho, you know, had bad disputes with the board, had bad disputes with a lot of the top players at this club, of course, well. So it didn't work out then, of course, as well. So potentially, you know, Solskjaer's totally blameless in this scenario, of course, as well. Because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team, of course, as well. He's going to make the decision on what players leave in the summer, and it's just very, very essential that we get the right players in the summer. We spend money in the summer, of course, as well. But in my opinion, you know, obviously none of this team is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team, as we all currently know, because obviously, you know, he's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. You know, there's still players here from Louis van Gaal, of course, as well. So potentially Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. He's looking to buy into our history, and he's looking to feed on that. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. And obviously we've got a board that can invest, you know, of who he wants to bring in the summer. But he's obviously identifying a few targets, of course, as well. But for me, Solskjaer's totally blameless in this situation. You know, Solskjaer's still the right man for Manchester United, in my opinion. Okay, the huge task is going to be for next season for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course. And obviously, for us to have any chance of top 4, probably we've got to probably win at least 5 out of our remaining 6 games if we've got any chance of top 4, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, was actually, you know, speaking about, you know, to be quite honest with you, as well. But you know, we've done really, really well overall. You know, we've lost 2 games in the league now in since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come in. We've lost 4 in all competitions, of course, as well. We've still got City to play. We've still got Chelsea to play, of course, as well. So the majority of the people are putting the blame on Ed Woodward. You know, the way the club's running and all that. You know, obviously with the mistakes he's done, of course, as well. We didn't get as priority targets last summer, of course. We didn't spend out in January. So potentially, yeah, there is problems at the club. And, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, there's still lots of hard work to be done at Manchester United, of course, as well. And, you know, we'll have to see, you know, we'll have to emphasise and see who we get in the summer. And if we get the right players, maybe we could be challenging up there next season. But I think still a lot of Manchester United fans are thinking that top 4 will be our aspirations in the news for next season, of course, as well. But I don't want Europa League football. That's one thing I do not want, of course. I want Champions League football for next season, but I can't see Manchester United winning the Champions League next season, you know, to be quite this season, sorry, to be quite honest with you, as well. I don't see it happening, to be quite honest with you. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I did say, he was a great player for 11 years at Manchester United. Don't forget, he was a really, really good player at Manchester United, as I said. But that's different. He was a player then, and obviously now he's a manager. And he hasn't really got a great managerial pedigree at the moment in terms of like winning any major honours and all that as well. But I still think he's the right man for Manchester United, of course, as well. You've probably got some people saying Solskjaer out yesterday with the defeat to Wolves, but I wouldn't go that far, to be quite honest. Obviously more questions will be asked. If more defeats occur, or if the performances are not up to scratch or they're below par, then more questions will be asked. To be quite honest with you as well. And there's been a lot of rumours going on about Paul Pogba, as we all know as well. Rumours going on about Pogba being heavily into a move to Madrid. Solskjaer himself has had talks with Paul Pogba. Solskjaer insists that Pogba still remains happy at Man United and he still has a big future at Manchester United. Reportedly, does Paul Pogba as well. But we do know he's been linked to a move to Madrid. He's been speaking a lot about Real Madrid. Paul Pogba, especially the other week, calling them a dream club and all that. And he admits playing for Zinedine Zidane would be a dream for him, of course. Well, and it's Real Madrid's one of their key targets, of course, because obviously Zinedine Zidane is planning for investment this summer. He's identified quite a few targets who he would like to bring to Real Madrid, of course, as well. But I think Paul Pogba is one of them. Zinedine Zidane likes him a lot. He's a big admirer of the player, of course, as well. And he hasn't been performing in the last couple of days, last couple of games for Manchester United. He just hasn't been performing. So I think he's thinking about Real Madrid, to be quite honest with you, as well. But as I did say, he's still on the contract here till 2021, Pogba, so he's still got over 2 years on his contract left, as we all know. We paid £89 million from Juventus back in 2016, potentially at the moment he's our most expensive player, is Paul Pogba, of course, as well. But there's been a lot of talks about it going on, saying that Real Madrid are preparing to put £125 million bid in. Then a report come out from the Sun the other day saying that if Man United had to sell him, would demand around £155 million. Probably his agent would get probably some of that money as well, which is obviously Raiola, because obviously Raiola is obviously in the process of finding a new club. He's come to Manchester to have discussions about a potential move for Pogba. He's obviously had a couple of negotiations with Real Madrid about a potential move for Paul Pogba as well. So his agent Raiola has been talking a lot about it, of course, as well. For me, if any offers do come in the summer, I think Man United are willing to turn them offers down, of course, as well. But potentially, when he's in good form and when he's playing in the right vein, which for the majority of this 3 months, since Solskjaer's come in, which he has done very, very well. Paul Pogba, his form has been rejuvenated, of course. Scoring, providing and all that, providing good service to the front men and all that. But most recently, he just took his eye off the boil, in my opinion. That's all I can really say. But I don't think we'll let him go in the summer, of course, as well. And so for me, I do think Solskjaer has galvanised his team, and it's been a fantastic experience for him so far. Of course, with the coaching staff, with the players and all that. He's enjoying working with them. He's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he will be delighted that he's got the job on a full-time basis. Maybe some people saying that he may be being appointed full-time manager too soon. Maybe some people saying we should have basically waited until the end of the season. Of course, I don't think it's too early, to be quite honest with you. I think he's done more than enough, to deserve the job on a full-time basis. But we've got to say that the performances have got to improve, because the performance was poor against Wolves, apart from the first 20 minutes. The first 20 minutes was good, as I said. The performance against Watford was definitely very, very poor indeed, as we all know. I think the Wolves game in the FA Cup, very, very poor. Arsenal wasn't poor, but we didn't win the game. I think we had our chances in that Arsenal game, of course, as well. So we've lost 3 of our last 4 games, of course, as well. So that's not good, is it, guys? To be quite honest with you as well. As I did say, we've still got City coming up, Chelsea coming up, of course, as well. So a lot of people, are putting the blame on Ed Woodward, as we all currently know, as well. Obviously, Rashford wasn't involved against Wolves, as I think a few people updated you on. Got confirmed before the game he sustained an ankle injury, so obviously Rashford wasn't involved in the game, of course, as well. So you've already seen my match reaction on the Wolves Manchester United game, of course, as well. So I will be back with more live videos probably tomorrow. Now I'll be back with some lot more live videos tomorrow, of course, as well. Give you some update on some more transfer rumours that are going on, as well. And so I wanted to give you a main update on Napoli's Koulibaly. Reportedly, I'll go through it again. He's reportedly reportedly forcing a move. He's forcing an exit away from Napoli this summer, because reports are indicating from Italy that reportedly he's swapped agents, so he's changed agents, and reportedly now his current brother is representing Koulibaly, of course, as well. And I think he's been keen on a move to Manchester United. Recent reports came out the other day saying that Carlo Ancelotti has had his say on the situation, and he's basically saying he's insisting he's not leaving Koulibaly and he's not for sale, of course, as well. But he'll still, I think he did say, but last week it was that Napoli wanted around 130 million, but I think he'll probably cost us in the region, for us to have any chance getting him, we'll probably have to pay at least £100 million in the process for Koulibaly, of course, as well. But we do need players like that, because they've got the ability, they've got the ability to elevate Manchester United in the next 2 to 3 years, of course. And Koulibaly is only 27 years of age, of course, as well. So the Koulibalys, the Rafael Varane, they've all got the ability to elevate Manchester United in the next 2 to 3 years. I'd also think Jadon Sancho's got it, as well. But yeah, the most essential thing is, we've got to get the right targets in the summer, of course, as well. So yeah, there's nothing much really more to say. That's all my opinions I've got to say and my thoughts. Hope you've enjoyed tonight's video again. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel, guys. My name's Charlie Davenport. As I said, you subscribe if you want. If you don't have to, if you don't want to, or if you do consider, at least drop a like on the video. I would really, really appreciate that. And take care. God bless, guys. And I'll see you all again very, very soon.